That line now would have gone so thin lately, right? There's so much, you got to tiptoe the edge of what you can and can't say before you get cancelled.
Fuck, this became your interview.
Doing a bit of hosting, bro.
Do you guys have moments where you feel like the pressure has gotten to you, like whether you're on stage or you're playing?
Oh, so we're going in.
We're going in.
Smooth, that was smooth. That was smooth.
Okay, this is my first rodeo, but come on, like, we're professionals.
You were prepared, the way you were even sitting, I didn't even like, what the fuck?
I'm supposed to be hosting with you. I'm all like, oh, we started?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking to Ibby off mic earlier,
Yeah.
and we were just saying it's funny because, you know, being a comedian, you synergise with other comedians, I think, like straight away. And I was just telling Ibby something that I realised is I don't really particularly enjoy doing stand-up, but it's something that I do as my vocation. So it's kind of awkward when I'm going on stage and I get like crippling anxiety before I take to the stage, and it's something that I'm doing to put food on the table. So I get it all the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, it's life in the big smoke. You get smoke in your eyes, you cough it. You know, it's tough out there. But yeah, it's probably something that I've only just been comfortable in actually coming out and saying it publicly in the last like year or so. Because for ages I was self-sabotaging myself and I didn't know why. And it was because I didn't actually like doing stand-up.
What made you decide that you were going to open up about it?
Don't know. It's just the setting. We're in this ridiculous ballroom. Like, you know, just with these OG ballers, man, you know, like, I got an urn on the table, I got a wine glass with my bloody name on it. Why not?
Judgment Day, man. You know everything.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
I am God.
What is that?
I'm God.
He's God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you know your friend? Is he always like this?
What do you mean, sick or?
Yeah.
I knew he was sick in the head, but no, you wouldn't pick it because I've had many a nights out where you wouldn't pick his anxiety. He goes up with the utmost confidence, even though when he looks in the mirror, I don't know why.
Depends on what side you're looking on, though.
Already. Not the left side.
If
Not
it's
the
this
left
side,
side.
he's
Not the
good.
left side.
He's got like half laugh, half hiccups at the moment. But nah, yeah, you wouldn't pick it because he's one of the loudest, most outspoken blokes ever. I've seen him bomb a couple times when he's done stand-up. I remember this one time he was performing in front of some cops. Some police. I think it's the first and last time I've ever seen him perform in front of people, so I can understand why he's got anxiety after that.
At least he can perform in front of cops. I get shot on sight in front of cops.
Hey, boy.
Oh,
It's
man.
getting real.
Yeah.
Did though.
But yeah,
How long ago was that?
it was a couple of years, maybe 3 years.
3 years ago, yeah.
3 years ago, yeah. To be fair, the setting wasn't kind to him. There was some band playing on the other side, so the guy had no chance.
There's
to
a
be
bar
honest,
mitzvah on one side, and then there was like, I think there was a 21st on the other. So we had like the music was wafting from both directions. And
But it's,
wasn't
yeah,
good.
when you were saying with pressure, it's weird because I think for me when I'm growing up, or I think anyone young playing sport, it starts off as just fun. You do it because you love it. It's an enjoyment thing. And yeah, it's just a way to pass time. But then it's weird, especially if you take it more seriously, somewhere along the line, it hits a certain point where you're like, hang on, this isn't fun anymore. Like it's fun at times, but it's transitioned into a job where there's all this pressure and all this expectation that comes with it, and you kind of forget why you started in the first place, and it turns into a job. Now, for sure, there are some fun moments when you do it, especially if you play at high level. You get perks, and when people chant your name and cheer you on, like that's the fun stuff. But if things ain't going well and you get the other side of it, obviously the social media abuse, that's part of it. You get crucified or...
Sorry for that, bro.
No, it's all right, bro.
You know, I'm the one commenting saying it.
It's fine. I'll give it a pass. But yeah, there's just there's so many sides to it where you don't realise. And then, yeah, it fucks with your head, to be honest, a lot. Because, yeah, it's such a, especially sport, I feel like it's such a what have you done for me lately, sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
one moment you're the best thing ever, and then
Chanting your name.
yeah, and then you're shit ass and you're washed up. So, I mean, I've been on both sides for it, but I think going through that makes you stronger, and then the pressure doesn't feel as important because if you've been on both sides, you kind of understand what to expect if things don't go well. So you kind of can prepare yourself for that, and well, I'm fortunate enough with my sport, it only takes 1 week to turn it around.
Yeah.
You can have a million terrible weeks, all of a sudden you have one good week and you hit, and everyone's like, oh, he's back, he's playing
Yeah.
unbelievable. So that's
Yeah.
just, I don't know, it just is what it is. You got to have thick skin if you play it, and you can't really worry too much about what
Yeah.
other people say and pressure. You're not going to perform all the time, but that's human.
We've come seen you play, Western United play, and it's scary. The soccer crowd is scary.
Yeah, it can be full on. Obviously with Thanasi it's the same. I think it's probably obviously a little bit more high profile, but it's sort of one of those things like what he said, is when you grow up you do love playing it and you sort of get out there. And I remember I was sort of like this shy little kid that was never really through the systems, and I went through a different pathway through sort of like local leagues, and then your first game you're just thrown out there at a Melbourne derby in front of 40,000 people, and you're just thinking like, what is this world? And then you kind of get through that and sort of forget that it even sort of happened. It goes really quickly, and then there's all the pressures on the social media and things start not going very well. And pretty much within 6 months went and made my debut, and then went to an under-20s World Cup in Turkey for playing for Australia and stuff like that. So it was sort of just an absolute whirlwind. You just never really stop to take a breath and realise that this is pretty cool what you're doing. You sort of it just happens that you go, okay, like that was it kind of thing. And then it was the couple of years after that, it was sort of like I wasn't playing as much, and that's when the pressures really hit, because it's sort of like you showed so much promise, and then, you know what I mean? So then you kind of wrestle it back, and you get older and you realise that, it is a game, and like we enjoy playing it, of course, but the pressures you sort of get used to dealing with and manage to go out there and try and enjoy yourself again like you did when you were a kid.
I was kind of like at the peak of, I do social media, basketball impersonations. I was the first person to ever like bring that sports comedy genre to social media. So I was ESPN, Jimmy Kimmel, like it was lit, it was.
Give me Kimmel's number, bro.
I got
Give
you.
me his number,
Cool dude, bro. He make these crazy tequila shots. I'll tell you about it later. But so I was kind of like, at the peak of my career, and so I was able to come out here, get signed to a basketball team, still be able to do my videos, but not as consistently. And I was getting hell on social media for it. You feel me? They were like, we don't want to see you play professional basketball. That's what I started. I started about playing professional basketball. They said they didn't want to see me play ball. They wanted to see me impersonate James Harden, Steph Curry, and all these people. So, but I was always good. I'm an only child. So in terms of like the pressure-wise, I never let it really get to me. Like I read it, it kind of like built me up, I'm not saying that I'm not perfect. It got to me a little bit, but in terms of like looking at it and like letting it affect who I am or, what I do or what I love, I didn't. I was able to, perform the way I did, and then come back out here years later. It's like, it's kind of like the complete opposite. I'm still cool. I ain't Kevin Hart, but I'm Gucci. You feel me? Like I'm in the middle right there. You feel me? I'm still making good money. I'm still making good content, but it's still not, what they want. So it's like you can't really try to please the people.
There's only so many times you can impersonate the same dude
That's
doing
what
the
I'm
same
saying,
stuff.
man.
Like they don't change, and then you can't change your impersonation because they're doing the same thing.
Exactly.
So
right.
you get stuck.
And
So-
I'm 31. I ain't trying to be, you
Yeah.
feel me? Like I'm the same age as some of these dudes. I ain't trying to be impersonated. I did that when I was like 25, 26.
Yeah.
Like I started off not doing like sports comedy. I was always, your regular everyday comedy. Some of my, like Mike Epps is one of my favorite comedians. Of course, Kevin Hart, like Martin Lawrence, Will Smith. So that's what I grew up doing, but I was able to, put what I love, which was basketball, and what I love watching, which was comedy, and put it together, and it changed my life. So that's why I'm not even tripping now. I like doing the skits that I was doing before, still give a little basketball flavor, and man, yeah, I'm here with the ballers.
Killing, man.
Yeah, man.
Well done, bro.
Yeah,
Fuck.
appreciate
That's
you.
crazy.
Hell yeah, man.
But yeah, in terms of pressure, just listening to these guys, I don't know, for me, I haven't felt that pressure as of yet. Like listening to Elliot now, I feel like I was listening to like wisdom right now, you know what I mean? I'm like, fucking, I gotta write this down, But for me, only because I'm so new to it, like I'm so new to the comedy scene. Like this is my first year ever doing stand-up comedy. So that's why I didn't feel that pressure. I thought I would have, especially doing my first ever shows. I thought I'd feel nervous under under pressure, like cracking a sweat. You know, my beard would be fucking oily or some shit. I don't know. Like I thought this is it. Like this is gonna be my moment to like fuck it up essentially. But before the show, before my first ever show in front of like hundreds of people, I didn't even feel any nerves or anything, which for me was weird. So I didn't feel that pressure or anything as of yet, and that's probably because I'm so new to it. And I think over time, gradually, the more I invest into it and the bigger that I try to become, that's when the more and more pressure will come to it. But right now, I don't feel that pressure at all.
I think also potentially if you haven't bombed yet, use your words from Elliot from that show, like you haven't seen yourself do badly. You haven't seen yourself make a fool of yourself. Or
I love how everyone who watches this that's that shit comedian that bombs all the time. Because Thanasi Kokkinakis threw me under a bus.
And that story's
like,
out of nowhere.
They're gonna look for that video on YouTube, see where you completely butchered.
Yeah,
it.
he's like, I've seen him bomb like 5 or 6 times. I was at the last one he
Why are
bombed.
my
at.
hands doing this,
I
bro?
don't know, bro. Look at that. Thanks, man. You're supposed to be one of my best mates. Like, he bombs all the time.
I got you, don't worry. I sort of bombed too though. In my first ever show, the thing that I was scared of the most, and like Elliot will probably understand this more than anyone, but it was like forgetting what I had to say on stage. And that actually happened where I forgot what I had to say on stage. But luckily, I'm a fucking genius. No, but luckily, I was like having a little sort of conversation with the crowd and everything as well. So I just went straight onto the crowd, and people thought me forgetting was part of the actual show. So I don't know if the expectations were really low, or I don't know what it was. Either way,
I don't understand. Like, that's probably my worst nightmare, being on a stage, just talking. Like, you have to talk to people. For me, that's like my biggest fear in the world. It's super impressive. You can just do that on your feet, like both of you guys. Like, it's awesome. All three here.
You're doing a good job now, because for people who are watching this, mate, I probably don't know, there are hundreds of people behind the cameras here.
there's a few lights.
There's a few moving parts back here.
No, that's dope, because that's something I want to, like, you know, do one day. Like, I've hosted like a concert or something like that, but, you know, throw a little jokes here, then get right off. But to be up there for 30, 40, not even that, 5 minutes, that's, because I'm one of my best friends, he does stand up, and that's, I'm sitting there like, bro, you different.
It's a lot of pressure. And I feel like, especially with what's been happening with social media and over the last 2 years with COVID, a lot of the talk about mental health and, you know, especially with trolls and social media. Is that something that is it something that you guys are bothered by? Does it come up much? Do you just not think about it?
For me personally, nah. Like I could not give a flying fuck.
That's your
regards to
energy.
it,
I feel like you
know what I mean?
don't give a
I
fuck
just don't
energy.
care. That's my problem and my biggest advantage. You know what I mean? So, but no, I think you're always gonna get like everything that we do sitting here is a little different, but in anything that you do, you'll always get some sort of like hate or trolls or someone trying to bring you down or commenting about it because it's not their cup of tea. And that's just something you got to live with, especially with, I feel like something like comedy, it's very subjective. Like I might find something funny, which you might find very offensive, but where's that line? What's funny? What is funny in that situation then? So I feel like you're always going to have people trying to say stuff, but you just got to do what you do. And that's what, come back to your point earlier, that's why you can't constantly just impersonate stuff. You want to do your own thing because you want to constantly evolve. You don't want to be stuck doing the same thing just to impress that person or that person. So for me, it's sort of like, I could hardly give a shit about what anyone says. Unless they're paying me, then brother,
Brother.
You say whatever they need
But
to do.
that line now would have gone so thin lately, right? There's so much, you got to tiptoe the edge of what you can and can't say before you get cancelled, for better of a word, online.
Yeah.
Especially now, like, I reckon comedian's almost one of the toughest things to be now because everyone's so sensitive about everything. You've got to be so careful in your jokes, otherwise people are just going to erase you completely, huh? So how does that feel for you two?
fuck, this became your interview.
I just thought, fuck it, I'm taking it tomorrow. What's up, baby?
Thanasi degenerates, mate. Look at that.
Where's the mic? Give me the mic.
Welcome to the Thanasi show.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Back to the question.
I'll pub down.
Yeah.
No, 100% you're right.
Thanks, man.
The line is very thin, but like I said, it's subjective. Like I might say something that will offend you to the another world, but the next person might find that so fucking hilarious. So I think for me, there's certain boundaries that I don't cross, things that I would get upset about. I try not to comment on those things, but everything else for me is just free for all. I'll say what I need to, because at the end of the day, like no one's forcing you to come see me or watch my stuff or whatever it may be. And like I said, like
If you get easily offended, you probably shouldn't go.
100%. Comedy's offensive no matter what you do. But I feel like these days, comedians specifically are like truth tellers. They bring certain stories and certain subjects to light that a lot of people wouldn't be able to in a humorous way. But it's bringing it to the attention of a lot of people. So I don't know. The line is very thin, but fuck it, bro. I'll jump up back and forth.
Tiptoe.
Yeah, man. And that's it. You said it. Comedy is one of the most subjective art forms there is. So, you know, you never really know what the line is and how to, you know, you've got to cross it as a comedian basically sometimes. I think you're always flirting with the line. And especially in this day and age, you're like, oh, can I say that? Can I say that? Best way to know, the only way to know is to go and test it out.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
I mean, is there going to be a camera there? Are you about to go all over the internet? Are you about to be viral? You're going to have a moment that happened recently that we don't really need to speak about, but like, is there a too far moment where, you know, whether it's a certain joke that's said or people get offended, like, is there too far?
It's a heavy question. It's a loaded question.
Yeah,
I mean, look,
fuck, man, give us some warnings.
Yeah, I mean,
what the fuck? Turn the camera off right now.
I mean, I think creative expression is pretty important, especially in comedy. I mean, you know, yes, that this is a heavy. We're getting into some heavy territory here, you know. Jesus Christ! But look, I don't. It was rickety from the get-go, mate. But look, I personally don't think so. I think, you know, for comedians up there with the intent in making people laugh, the intent is everything, and I think that's the number one thing that gets lost. If the intent of the comedian is to actually have a joke to spread humour and make people happy, then if people take offence to that, then I think that's more the responsibility of the audience rather than the comedian. He's just up there trying to...
Don't attend the show.
Yeah.
Don't buy a ticket.
100%.
Yeah.
You're 100% right there because, like you said, it's just literally trying to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And you don't need to go for that like shock factor sometimes where it's sort of like, whoa, what the fuck did you just say that? Sometimes just like having a genuine laugh about certain topics. And your intention, perfectly said, isn't bad at all. It's to actually just bring a sort of a bit of happiness to certain topics that may be considered sometimes to be a bit taboo. But I stick by what I say. Fuck everyone.
I mean, I feel like with the Oz Open recently, obviously there was a lot in the news about you and Kyrgios, and you two together are quite a dynamic duo.
Killer duo, killed it.
Thanks,
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah, no.
Don't worry about her questions, bro. She's
No, I mean,
Take this guy everywhere.
yeah, Elliot, you've lost your job.
Yeah, I know.
You've now got your big.
I lost it from the get-go, mate. When this guy's telling everyone that I'm bombing every time I step on stage.
It's just this one time.
You realize that video is about to get like, it's going to go viral. It's going to
This is
get the
going to
most
be
views
screened
you've
at
ever.
Village Cinemas, isn't it? For Christ's sake.
Firstly, congratulations,
Thank you.
because that was epic. I'm sure everyone knows that you guys won. But the two of you, like, you're new and you're fresh, and Australia doesn't necessarily know how to take it. The tennis world doesn't necessarily know how to take it. Dot and I were talking about the types of people that play basketball versus the types of people that play tennis, types of people that play soccer. Like, it's different.
Well, we're trying to kind of bridge that gap a little bit because I mean, tennis is that traditional old person sport. I think they had a thing where the average viewer was like 60 up, and we can't have that. Like, not anymore, but it was. And like, especially for some events like Wimbledon, you got to behave a certain way. Obviously, you got to only wear all white. It's tough sometimes to show your personality because they want to put you in a box, and that's the thing. Even now, I'm watching the NBA. I mean, you can get away with a lot more in NBA, but like, you say something to a ref, or you turn around the wrong way, or look at them slightly, tech foul, and then you can't show any emotion.
Yeah.
It's like the crowd's not here, the fans aren't here to see people get ejected over small stuff like that. They want to see, not saying throw hands every 2 minutes, but like, let's see some emotion. And I think that's what we tried to bring on court, and I think the crowd numbers reflected that. We had packed stadiums, obviously not higher than every singles match, but I'd say 90-95% of singles matches were sort of outnumbered by us playing doubles. I think Nadal was playing on centre court in like a quarter final, and they went to us who was playing a second or third round doubles match, which is just unheard of. But the fact that we could bring such a young crowd and such a loose atmosphere, people are doing shoeies in the crowd, someone's pouring beer everywhere.
Do you know what a shoey is? You know what a shoey is?
I don't know what a shoe is.
That's-
to my drink out the shoe?
Yeah. So people are
Yeah, I've
pouring.
seen that a lot out
Yeah,
here.
people are pouring beers in the
Is that an
crowd.
Australian thing?
Yeah, I think so.
So
So
strange.
people are doing that in the crowd.
Right.
They're like telling us to call out and just make like sex noises, and like some of us will just do it just to, I don't know, just to anything to engage the crowd. And it definitely rattles the other people, that's for sure. But yeah, we weren't expecting to go on a run like that. And then the traction it built, the energy, the buzz around the stadium, and it's all people were talking about. So yeah, we had a hell of a 2 weeks. But that's what we want. We want to bring some new young fans, have it a bit more vibrant. I know you get a code violation for throwing a racket, you get massive fines, but at the end of the day, it's entertainment. If you're not going to harm anyone else, people want to see that. They don't want to see players act like robots and show nothing. So I don't know, I think that's where tennis has got to get better, and I think obviously there's got to be a line, but I think the line needs to be pushed back a bit.
Different to the line in comedy?
I don't think it's as offensive, but I think there's room for both lines to be pushed back a bit, that's for sure.
Is there a lot of rules with soccer we're playing? Or football?
Yes and no, not really. I think it's a bit more fluid than that. Obviously, there's certain boundaries you can't cross in terms of just the way you speak to people. You sort of see some, footage from, some other countries around the world where people are surrounding refs and flares are going off everywhere and things like that. So I think it just depends where you are, what sort of country you're in. But here, it's sort of got to keep it a lot more above board. It's obviously not to the extent that tennis is and sports like sort of golf and stuff, that they're also obviously that sports trying to sort of transcend into a little bit of a younger generation as well. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more free flowing. So
I mean, yellow card first, right? Then red card.
But you can get them pretty quickly and pretty easily these days, honestly.
I feel like I've seen it where a ref literally throws up a yellow and then throws up the red instrument.
It's like they get grumpy or something. After the first one, you say something you shouldn't, and you're off. But I've been lucky enough to not being sent off yet. But
Never.
I was actually close last night. Apparently, I was speaking to the ref after the game, and he goes, "Oh, you could have gone for that. Put a tackle in."
You haven't hit anyone from behind?
Yesterday wasn't.
Sunday
pretty.
league, bro. Everyone's got it.
If you don't get sent off, you failed.
Yeah.
It's disappointing if you don't get sent off.
No,
How dare you ruin the family?
I go down and see my mates play like State League 5. They play with my brother. It's all like the old guys I went to school with, and there's 2 or 3 off a week, and it's just the best.
Oh wow.
I love it. It's great.
That's your goal next time. Get sent off.
Hey, any press is good press. Get out there.
From now on, we're going to be watching your games. We'll be trolling you,
Sounds good.
asking you if you've been kicked off lately. So you're playing Western United, right? How long have they been around now?
It's into its 3rd year now, so I was here from the first day. So it's been really cool. Like, it's been kind of like hard not to give a textbook answer with this, like just going along the lines of where you're building everything from the ground up. So you don't really have anywhere to train. No coaches, no staff, no nothing, no players.
Where
no
do you train?
So now we've got everything sorted, and we're actually training at the Essendon Bombers facilities, the AFL team.
Oh, okay.
So we sort of share the space with them, and they're really good dudes as well. So it's pretty cool just hanging out with those guys as well. So yeah, we've got everything we could want now, and it's been really good. It's been really organic, and the growth's been awesome. So it's just something it's a good place to be around at the moment for sure.
And the stadium's been built.
It's being built.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Not sure the timeline on that one. Yeah.
But that's in Tarnee, West Side.
Yep. So when that's built, it'll be pretty cool. Hopefully, it can bring a lot of people together in the West. And I think that's one of the things with the league. I think in a way to improve it is, I assume it's quite difficult in this country to do it, but privatising stadiums and owning your own sort of infrastructure is probably the way forward to grow a lot of sports. And obviously, sort of basing it almost on the MLS model, where teams have 2 or 3 years to come in America. And
what, just MLS? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, sorry.
That's
in America, the soccer league over there.
I was about to just be like, what the fuck is going on?
When you've been talking, I've just been sitting here pretending what's going on. You had to call me out, but that's all right.
Y'all different out here in terms of like more patient, more chill understanding. In America, anything shared sports-wise, man, you got 2 NBA teams sharing a practice. Nah, that's not. Yeah. Something's going up. Somebody on the team, either a prima donna or they like, nah, like we getting paid this amount. We should have our own, our own space. I.e., the Lakers and Clippers, they're finally, separated, but still, they still have their own different practice facilities. But being a professional athlete and having to share, a practice facility or a stadium with anybody in America they not going. So
you reckon bigger egos?
What the heck, man? Yes.
Aussie attitude is just kick back.
Yeah.
You want to share space? Go on, mate.
Right.
It's all yours.
Do you guys, how do you feel about like opening up for someone or sharing a stage with another comedian? Do you feel like, you know, you have to perform a certain way because someone else was before you or someone else is after you?
You please answer.
I mean, you're new to this, so let the master talk.
Mate, like, look, I mean, not at all, really. I don't think so, personally. Like, what about you, Ibby? I mean, I don't have that.
Nah, honestly, I don't think so either. I think it's, we need, I want an environment where like I can come to you as a comedian and we can bounce ideas off one another and we can support one another like that. So for me, it's not like, oh, this is my crowd, this is my stage. If it's my show, then fair enough. Like that's going to be my crowd anyway. But if it's like a comedy gala or something like that, that's the best because now they're getting so many different comedians. You know what I mean? And they're, I don't know, for me, it's like exactly how you're saying it.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I guess touching on nerves earlier when we first started the potty, like I guess if you see someone absolutely destroy and you've got to go up and follow that, that's maybe when you go, oh damn, like I've got to go out there and follow that. You know what I mean? And then I've also had comedians come up to me and be like, man, you did really well, and then they've got to follow that. You know, so it's always, I guess comparison's the thief of joy. You're always comparing yourself to someone else, kind of thing up there. And yeah. You know.
Yeah, I've never done like a comedy festival or comedy. I've only just done my own shows. Yeah. My first time ever, so I don't even know.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I'd expect a check of it. But nah, for me, I don't know. I might get like jealous or like, what the fuck, they killed it. How am I gonna follow that, or what am I gonna do? But I haven't experienced that as of yet. I'm eager to experience that, but not as of yet.
Is that like a goal for you to be doing one of those?
It was, but because, I don't know why I yelled that, but...
Does everyone do the same one? Does everyone just go from state to state doing the same comedy
doing the
festivals?
same festivals? Yeah,
I don't know.
Pretty much. Unless they do it independently. Like there's a few guys who've got huge online platforms. Their platforms are so big that they just do their own independent shows off the back of their own. You know.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Like, I was lucky enough.
Independent.
That wasn't a joke. That was the first time I actually did make a joke. Yeah.
The only one she laughed at.
No, but he's 100% right though, because it's so wise. But I didn't do any stand-up sets in my entire life ever, and I went from my online like videos and everything to doing an hour special.
I can't believe that, man.
Yeah, so
like,
for
we
me,
were talking about that earlier. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was good. Like it was a good experience for me because I thought I'm just gonna throw myself in the deep end. And if I fuck up, I fuck up in style. And if I do good, I really do well. So for me, it was like, I had never done a set before for even 30 seconds. And then I just jumped into doing an hour. So it was amazing, like it was crazy and it was like surreal. And I can't put into words how like, it was like a dream come true. That's the only way that I can put it. But no, it was amazing, so.
I knew that when I heard you were doing your show, I was like, I've never done a show before. He's about to an Australian tour and he's never done a show. Like it was impressive, but also just like ballsy.
Yeah, no, it was. No, you messaged me saying, "Hey, dickhead, don't do it." But
no, tell them that.
No, it was good. It was amazing. But it's people like Elliot that have sort of like guided that way and shown us that it is possible, whether it's like a stand-up perspective, whatever it was. And that's why like I've been following Elliot for like years and years before I even.
Are you a fan?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I was because I saw, and I'm like, fuck him, I've got to be better than him. No, but for me, it was like seeing it being possible. I'm like, what's the difference? Like, why can't I do something like Elliot's doing, or like, why can't I put myself out there as well? Yeah. So I saw him do videos and stuff, and he was one of the reasons why I actually started doing videos and stuff as well.
You're not just saying that? Like, you don't have to say that, you realize that.
I don't know, I can cut that. No, 100%. Like, I used to, like, when I was young, I used to watch his videos all the time. I'd be like, fuck, this is so funny. And that's why I started doing videos a little bit as well, like him and a few others, like Super Wogs and like all this combination of different people, like the Dave Chappelle's, everything.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're the fucking funniest.
Now that's different, man. You different because you're a natural. You feel me? If you're able to do that, because I mean, we have a lot of influencers in America that have big followings social media-wise, do that everyday content, but they try to do the stand-up and it's terrible. I mean, they sell out the crowd, you know, but it's like, nah, it's not really where it's at. And to them, they think it's easy until they get to that point. Like, you guys know T.I. T.I. Tip. He's doing stand-up now. And he hasn't had a good show yet.
Yeah, it's tough.
And this is T.I. He's probably, we call him the king of Atlanta. He's one of the best known rappers out. well, not out, but in the history of
From
the rap
the
game.
OGs.
And yeah, and he has acting experience, but he's tried to do stand up, all sold out, but she's getting booed every time. So like,
I shouldn't laugh, but fuck. That's
but it's it's real. You feel me? Like it's real. Like it made him humble himself. I mean, of course he got offended because he from the South. He got that hood to him, so he like, man, F y'all, da da da. But he had to remember like, oh shoot, this is not my realm. Just because they like my music don't mean they gonna like.
Yeah, was he just done with music to try and have to feel like
It's one of them things where he done made it so far in music. Like, let me try something different. You feel me?
So he did it because he was bored. That's fucking.
Yes, what I'm
crazy.
saying.
That's
Right,
the
like
best.
it's kind of.
It's like me starting tennis because I'm fucking bored.
Right, like all right, I done made everybody laugh. Let me try to. Right, so.
Wow, man.
Nah, so that's different, bro. Like you're a natural. To not care what people, yeah.
I mean, people are literally like buying a ticket to see T.I., not to actually. It's not
hear.
about what
Yeah,
he's
that's
doing.
just about the name.
That's just
Yep.
literally about the
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
But I feel like for you, because your name is being built off of the comedy that you produce on those videos, and you did it during lockdown. I mean, what were you doing before that made you go, I'm bored, let me try this? Were you always funny? Because I've heard,
Just fucking
like,
born,
I've heard other
born
things.
talent.
But you started something and were like, okay, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, no, I just started doing videos. I just literally started doing videos after year 12. I finished and then I was waiting for like my ATAR score. And I just was comparing like how my dad would react versus how like an Australian dad would react.
'Cause
Just
you're
being carefree like.
You're back
Afghan, I'm
Afghani,
Afghan,
right?
yeah. I like how you struggled saying that.
I
Like
did
you have to be
not.
very careful.
I
Yeah.
know.
You're
I
from
know.
that
First of
place.
all,
You're from
I wanted
Osama
you to
bin
know
Laden.
that
But no, yeah, Afghan background. So yes, I did get hit as a child.
Yes, that's
what you're
right.
trying to say.
That's
That's what you're
fine.
trying to say in the
I knew.
nicest way.
It's fine.
But yeah, no, it was, and I posted that up, and people reacted like actually they were laughing at it, and they were getting a good response to it. So I'm like, oh, let me just see how it goes, and I kept doing it, and then I was working full time. I left that, just quit everything.
What were you doing?
I was working for the tax office. So I'm very sorry, guys. I want to apologize. Yeah.
You were before comedy.
Why you smile like that?
Oh, here we go.
Here comes the stitch up.
You had a
That's a stitch me up.
you had a good job, right?
Yeah, that's right, Grand Slam champ. Did I mention I've seen this guy get chopped in tennis before? Plenty of times I've watched him get
I
chopped.
think it's good you guys
Anyway,
are sitting opposite
it is
each
still
other.
good. Nah, look, mate, yeah, I was a male stripper retired hung at the G-string, but thanks for bringing it up on the podcast, mate. That is something that I wasn't in the taxation office. Strangely, chicks don't request taxation officers as strippers.
They did for me. Can you bring your accounting book?
Yeah, the ripped jeans, I knew.
Yeah, exactly, mate. There's milk crumbs lots. But yeah, mate, that's funny. That's crazy though, man. It's quite different to comedy.
Yeah, it was, man.
That's very different.
I was a manager there. So
Wow.
yeah, I was fucking. I think I was hired. Yeah, it's
Sorry.
a shock. Yeah,
Really?
even I'm confused. I don't get it either. What the fuck?
Did they meet you before they?
I think they looked at my nose and said, we got to hire him for quota. You know, like he hits all the demographic boxes. Yeah. But no, it was good. And then I secure job, really good. And I thought the only way that I'm going to actually get into doing my passion and doing what I love to do is if I just leave everything and make it like a no other resort situation. I didn't have any other backup. I just had to dive head first.
Yeah.
And it paid off. So
When did you realize it was your passion?
when the money started coming in,
Yeah.
that's fucking.
Makes
Yeah. So my passion might change by
Do you
next
pay
year.
tax on it, or what do you?
Brother, we can talk about that. So, yeah. No, honestly, when I was a little kid, when I was like 11 years old, I wanted to do stand up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, from a little, like I was a little kid. I looked the same when I was 11, but I wanted
Beard
to
and
do.
everything?
Yeah, brother,
Yeah,
don't worry.
I'll
It's
grow that thing
fucking
early, bro.
Yeah, it's a. We can cry about it later, but don't. But no, 11 years old, I said I have to do stand up one way or another. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I wanted to do it, and I did it. So.
Did you have idols back then? Was it, or not idols, like?
Like I
people
used to watch
inspired
like
you
Eddie
back then?
Murphy and all those guys
Yeah.
doing it, and recently like Dave Chappelle was like that sort of like holy grail, like the top of the mountain for me, and that's what I want to get to, that level. But yeah, there was always people that, like I said, Elliot, like those other online content creators and stuff as well, that I just made him sound so fucking old, like no.
He's not. He's gone from
No.
praising you to like now he's.
No, but yeah, there was always people that I was looking at, like drew inspiration from. But yeah, no, I'm always grateful though. Always got to be grateful. In a lucky position to be in. So.
Elliot, who's your inspiration within your field, I guess?
Oh, like, so I guess it's kind of interesting though, hearing you say that, because I am feeling like I'm getting pretty old now, because I got a lot of like these really great up and coming comedians like Ibby who are coming through and killing it, and they're always like, hey man, like, I watched your videos when I was in like high school and stuff. And
Great, thanks.
it's crazy though, like it's really cool that like I feel like that landscapes have been paved out by guys like, you know, Shooter Williamson as well.
Yeah.
He was one of the OG guys, and Frenchie and those guys, and you know, seeing all these new comedians come through is really cool. But I guess for myself starting out, there wasn't really that much online comedy at the time. Like YouTube was kind of in its infancy as well. Like it was probably me and Shooter.
Yeah, 100% it was. There was no one that had done it like you guys have done it. That's what I'm saying. Like you guys were literally the first people in Australia to take that on board and be like, you know what, we're going to run with it. Yeah. We're going to be the first people to sort of pave that. And it would not have been an easy task to do. Like social media wasn't a big thing back then.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And you guys did it so organically.
Sorry?
What year-ish? What, like?
Oh, this is about 2012, 2013, I reckon, when we first started. When I first started. Shooter probably started a bit earlier. Shooter started like 2009.
Yeah.
Shooter was probably the first one online.
Yeah.
But like looking way further out, like external from that, like I used to love watching like, you know, Jim Carrey when I was a young kid. I thought he was great. Robin Williams, hero of mine. You know, I thought he was fantastic. You know, like I used to love watching, and for me personally, like my passion is sketch comedy. You know what I mean? Auditioned last year for SNL because you know that's what that's what I like to do. You know, it's like when I say I don't like doing stand-up comedy, that's a realization that's come recently because I love doing sketch. So I love the sketch comedy guys like Will Ferrell and you know guys like that who are just traditional sketch guys who are just unreal. So those are the guys that I look up to and aspire to be like. You know, so
have we got anything like SNL in Australia?
Unfortunately, not.
So
unless we want to pivot here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, look, there's not.
Davidson.
Yeah.
There's not a lot out there like we're doing. Like, is there a reason why not have something in Australia? Like,
I think it would be great. Like, I think there's a big hole in the market for it. I think it's just, you know, hopefully just a matter of time.
I mean, it takes somebody to start
Ibby
it.
and I are up for it.
Listen.
Yeah, we used to have that, like the thank God you're here.
That was hilarious.
They used to play skits on that. I don't know. They didn't have the big man. They didn't have the boys.
Yeah.
They needed the boys.
A little bit before our time. Yeah, that was really good. They should bring
That
that
was
back.
good. I don't know
They
what
should bring
happened
that back. That was really, really good. That was done with the Working Dog guys, right?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I
really
remember
good.
those. I actually really enjoyed that. I don't think there's anything else
I think,
even similar.
yeah, they don't have anything like that in the States, do they?
But just putting comedians
Do you
in
know what that,
scenes,
it's like a
Yeah,
short,
gonna work.
improvising. Yeah.
improvisational, kind of stuff.
Nah, not if you're going to, you know, a sketch comedy class or like an
Yeah.
actual
Yeah.
academy.
Yeah.
Like
But nothing that's public.
Nothing, not in LA. They have a lot of those in LA.
Yeah.
When I lived in
Brownies
LA, I
and
went
stuff?
to a lot.
Yeah.
I went to a lot of the sketch comedy things. But not televised wise.
Yeah.
When were you living in LA?
2015 to 18.
Playing ball or?
Nah, social media. I had to move out. That's when I drove all the way from Georgia to LA. Because my agent was out there, my manager, and they were like, "This is the place to be." Because I was playing ball. So when I did what I did, when I impersonated Russell Westbrook, it like changed my whole life. I was trying to play ball, get to the NBA, and the next thing you know, I'm like the NBA impersonator. And like I said, ESPN, the magazine, they like, "You need to come to LA. You got to be here." I'm leaving my family, so it was.
So did you try to go through G League? Did you play G League?
Yep, I played. I played a couple months, and then back then it was the D League. I'm
Yeah.
31, so back then it was the D League. Now it's the G League. Played in Spain, a little bit in Australia. I was on a platform called Vine. So that's where I originated. Like no sports, but just white collar, blue collar, straight comedy like that. Just skits, Drake, be like all that stuff. And then I randomly did a sports video, that impersonation, and it changed my life till I stopped playing ball for 3 years.
Connor, have you played in Europe?
We've done a lot of like junior sort of tournaments over there. So I've played against like the Netherlands youth team and stuff like that in Germany and stuff. And we just get done. Like, they're good. They're good.
What?
Like,
Why do you
really
think
good.
it's so like everybody
So
knows?
Aussie, we just get done.
Yeah, I know.
The youth systems there are crazy though.
Yeah, well, they start like young and they're proper in school, but they train the same. For like, they'll be at a professional club from 8 years old, going to school, train twice a day.
They're
all
crazy
the way
over
up.
there.
Like, it's crazy.
It's a different culture with soccer over there.
Yeah.
Like, they just do it
Yeah.
from such a young age.
know.
Here it's an afterthought.
And a lot of these guys were ended up playing in the Premier League and big leagues like that. So we ended
Guys
up
that you played against?
So we ended up losing like 4-1 against the Netherlands, and this was just a warm up for the World Cup. And we're thinking, oh, this is going to be a fun World Cup, isn't it? But anyway, to be honest, 4-1 we did all right. Like that's pretty respectable. I think.
You take the one.
Yeah, some of the cars driving out of that place. It's just a different world.
Yeah.
And these kids were all 20 at the time. We were like 20 years
Man,
old.
they're on like 500,000
driving
pounds a
like-
week.
yeah.
And
Pounds.
Yeah,
which
like
is-
what's that all
It's
about?
too much money. It's honestly
Yeah.
it's money laundering. I feel.
Yeah, it
has to be
spread
something
it,
straight
you know?
up.
Spread it.
I was in Paris when France won the World Cup. So I was there when the team actually got back there,
Oh no.
my
and it
gosh.
was like the most insane shit. That's what I'm saying. Like the soccer culture
Europe
over there.
is-
The Arc
It's-
de Triomphe.
Yeah, it was
road.
packed.
Yeah.
You know the flares? They were going like straight onto people instead of going up. Yeah, it was crazy. It was insane. yeah. The team was going crazy. It was just. I had to learn some fucking polyvoo, like an anglais. What the fuck?
Just to
I didn't
get
even know what
by.
was going on. Yeah, but it was hectic. That's what like so. It was the busiest that they'd seen Arc de Triomphe like ever. So the culture over there for like sport in general, I think is really really different.
Was football
Yeah.
be the big
Yeah,
sport in
yeah.
Europe, right?
Yeah, definitely in Europe.
Yeah.
Those videos from the Bundesliga, even
Go on,
South
that's
America,
crazy.
like
Yeah.
Boca Juniors, like you watch the,
So
looks
weird.
like the stadiums. They got
Moving.
that. They got
Looks like
that like
stadiums
glass
moving.
shield trying
Yeah,
to
that
protect the
wouldn't
fans.
pass our H&S
No,
over here.
yeah,
no
exactly.
chance.
Those things are like wobbling. The stadiums are wobbling. I'm just like, these people are all dying.
Like as in shields similar that you'd see at ice
almost,
hockey?
almost similar. I think it's to just stop fans like maybe going into their wrong row or just like flooding the field or whatever. But you see stuff and it's like the whole stadium's just
There'd be some
moving.
pretty full-on ones in tennis as well, right? Some,
Used to be with Davis Cup,
Yeah.
those home and away atmosphere when you play like in South America, it gets pretty loose. But now they're kind of, as I said, tennis is kind of trying to
yeah.
calm it down a little bit.
Well,
But
Showy 3.
oh yeah, that was a zoo this year to be honest.
Which one?
Yeah.
Show
Yeah.
Court 3.
Ah.
Show
That
Court
was
3.
I played this year. That felt like I was playing in the
for
Bundesliga in
sure
like
it would.
Dortmund or something.
Yeah.
Like it was like nothing I'd ever experienced in my life. Like
Yeah.
hearing all and everyone's. I always request at about sort of 5-6 p.m. Everyone's just tonked, and I request the stadium that's like free. So like not free, but like a ground pass, so you can pay the minimum and everyone can come in. And it's just like, it's a zoo out there. You hear every comment. It's just so loud. People are banging. It literally feels like playing overseas.
They're closer though as well. That's
Yeah,
the
they're real
crazy
close,
thing.
so
You
it's
can probably
real
actually hear
intimate.
conversation.
Like you can actually have a conversation
Yeah.
with the dude in the front row, and it's good to a degree, but then it gets to a point where it's like, hang on, I'm literally forgetting about what I've got to do in front of me, and I end up having a conversation with some dude behind me just like talking shit. So like, it's fun, but not the best for results.
Probably not.
When I was younger, I was just like, yeah, I just need to feed off the energy, like whatever's going to help me get through. But then after a while, as you get older and you believe in yourself more and you feel like you don't need the crowd as much and you need to worry about yourself, that's when maybe it's time to kind of shift away from that because, I don't know, that's something else. But sometimes they can get into your opponent's ear, but I think my opponent was a bit deaf, like legitimately deaf, so he didn't get faced by it at all.
Now, speaking on that, you'll think, going back to the tennis and them being a little bit more lenient with you guys. You're out there by yourself.
Yeah.
You would think they'll be chill with you, hyping yourself up. Like it's probably the only sport outside of golf, but I mean, at least you got the golf. They got their caddy.
Yeah, we
You
don't.
feel
We're
me?
not. When people talk to their coach, we can get warnings. We're not allowed. Like it can be real detrimental. But that's the thing. Yeah, we're out there by ourselves, and sometimes you want to just have someone to feed stuff off because there's a lot of pressure out there by yourself. Everyone kind of watching you. You fuck up. Everyone's like, "Why'd you do that?" It's like, mate, it's not that easy. You know what I mean? Like,
Hard not to get in your own head. Like,
yeah, 100%. And then you start self-doubting. You hear what they say, even though you shouldn't care. It still makes its way through. So then, yeah, you gotta try and block it out. And that's the thing. You're not having a good game in team sports or whatever. It's all right. The next guy comes in. But that's also the good thing about tennis and an individual sport is, I mean, you can be as good as you want at basketball, but if no coach believes in you, then you're not getting a chance. In tennis, it doesn't really matter what anyone thinks of you. If you're good enough and you can win, you can build your way up. But that's the thing. You can be as good as you want in any team sport, and you can be head and shoulders above the rest in the field. But if no one really thinks you're that good or they don't like you as a person, you can just get
based on
scrapped.
opinions, isn't
Exactly.
it? Yeah.
Which is the
You
tough
find that
part.
a lot. Yeah.
You feel like
With
that?
people there's some people that have come through that have endless amounts of talent, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't quite work, and you're just sort of going like, how is that possible?
Do you think it's
know.
different if you're playing as a team versus I guess he's playing on his own unless you're playing doubles, but as a team, even if you've got all the skill, you've got all the talent, but if you can't play as a team, then...
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously, like any team sport, there's an individual that sometimes they think that they can do a bit more than they should, maybe in the game plan or whatever, things like that. So, yeah, it's a pretty crazy world. But obviously, you've always got someone there to lean on as well. If you know, I'm sort of a up and down person, kind of. I take things quite hard if I make a mistake or something like that, and then you've got the opposite on your team. It's like, what are you worried about, kind of thing, and it kind of like levels you out a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think in the tennis sort of stuff, that's probably, if I was by myself, that's probably where I would struggle. Yeah, it's like when I used to play golf as a kid and like with my dad, and he knew straight away I was never going to be a golfer because you hit one, throw a club, and then you're gone for the rest of the round.
Did he
So
tell
like,
did he
it'd be
tell
like
you?
that in tennis, I imagine. Like if you can't just take every point individually, it'd be like you can't. It just snowballs and snowballs. And there'd be people out there on the circuit that I assume are like that, and you must think in moments like, oh, I've got him now, you know.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can definitely feel the momentum shift, and I don't know if it's like that with team sports, but definitely when it's one-on-one, you can feel when things are starting to crumble for the other guy or for yourself as well.
Yeah,
You try and buy time and find stuff to kind of like a lot of times faking it as well.
Yeah,
like
for
you
sure.
get so many times people, when they yell out like come-ons and everything like that. I feel like the people that try and do that the most are kind of shitting themselves inside because they feel like they got to project something because inside they're not confident at all with what they're doing. So it's finding that balance, but yeah, you got to worry about yourself first before the other guy for sure. But I feel like tennis, you can kind of, if you fuck up a little bit, you have time to kind of bring it back. In golf, one bad hole, you're cooked. So that's the tough part, and that's the good thing about the tennis. There's no time limit.
Yeah.
Eventually, if you find your game, no matter how late it is, sometimes you can just get it back.
How do you deal with the pressure? Those moments where you feel like okay, like I'm losing it.
Yeah.
How do you turn that around? Like you're in a Grand Slam or you're in a final. Like how do you turn that around?
It's tough. Sometimes you can't. To be honest, there's times where you feel like you've tried everything, but you can't. Like
Sometimes he just gets chopped.
he's trying to bring it back to you.
He's waiting for it. He's been waiting.
He's been waiting an hour to kind of
I
just.
see him. His legs
you
are
wanna
like
tell
twitching like this as well.
Tell us, what was his worst game? Do you want to get it off your chest?
No, man.
Go on.
I'm good.
Go
Man.
on.
I'm good.
Oh, he's done now.
I'm done. I said my piece.
Yeah, no, that's the good thing about playing doubles as well. If one of you guys isn't there, the other one can kind of help. But yeah, singles. I've had some rough ones, had some good ones, but pressure. I don't know. It's weird. You just got to trust. With any sport, you just have to trust the work you've done in practice. Sometimes you're not going to feel it, and tennis is such a feel sport. Like everything can look to the same from the crowd, but it can be the difference between the ball. Like you hitting like a flush winner, or you literally putting it off the frame into the stands, and the crowd can't tell the difference, but inside you're like shitting yourself, or like a tiny bit of nerves. It's just trusting the repetitions you have over and over and over again in practice, like any sport. But at the end of the day, it's like sometimes you're just not going to have it in big moments, and that's where you can't scroll the Instagram too much, or Twitter. Twitter's almost worse. You cop
I'm
it.
not on
Twitter's brutal. So
You
I
guys
think
on
that's
Twitter?
the time where you just park that one to the side for a little
Yeah.
bit, because if you check it, you just know you're getting
You're
death threats
getting
and copping abuse. But
Why is
that's just part of it.
Death threats?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, all the time.
Twitter on
why is Twitter?
What rattles
15,
people,
boy.
and I've learned, if they don't have their account on private and they go on public, oh yeah, I'm hammering them back. Like I'm like,
like
mate,
that.
this is you. Like, look at yourself. But the other thing, which they don't know how to react, is if you're like really nice back.
I've
Like,
done that as well.
That's what
They
that's
hate
what
that.
fucks them. They have
Well,
no idea what to do. Like, thanks man, sorry I had a rough day. Hope all is well with your family and that. And they're just like, oh, I wish you all the best, man. Good luck. And they're just
Especially
like, what
when
the
you say
fuck?
that, when they're like, go fucking kill yourself.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. And you reply with, hey man, hope you had a nice dinner. Like, all the best. Hope your family's well. Good luck with your future. They're just like, what? Like, they have no idea how to react to that. So that's usually, if I'm in a good enough space mentally, usually I'm not. But if I am, then I'll play that card, and they're like, oh fuck, all the best, man. Actually, a big fan. I'm like, it didn't seem it when you were wishing I had cancer like a minute ago. So
That bad?
yeah, it gets rough.
Oh no,
Do you get it that bad?
she crazy.
Or have you seen it
Obviously,
that bad?
probably
with-
not to that extent.
No, but like,
yeah, I've had a few. It's
pretty rough.
Even like lately, it's not to the point where it's like that, but just calling me every word under the sun. Literally yesterday, because he didn't win a multi. based off.
betting.
Multis
yeah.
Italian.
You would get
usually
so
from,
many of
it's, yeah,
those.
it's usually from the betters, to be
betting
honest.
money,
So
Fair
like,
enough then if you cop it for that. That's
so like there was
pull up, boys.
two different approaches where it was the same dude messaged two of us, one of my mates from the team, and I asked him, what would you bet? I just want to see what he lost on, and I was going to work out what to say, and he just pinned me. Then my mate was like, I'll just send him the gambler's helpline number, and he didn't like that one. So then he teed off at him, and then that was like, it's just, you just sort of got to have fun with it a bit.
Well, people come up to me, they're like, man, I've won so much money on you in this match. I'm like, please don't tell me. Do not bet on me. All I say to them when they come up, I'm like, I'm erratic as shit. I don't know, I don't know what I'm gonna get. So
the book
you're playing with house money here because I don't trust myself, so you shouldn't trust me either. So that's all I tell them. Yeah.
I think people they have a lot of confidence when it's behind a screen though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, as in, like,
100%.
because I doubt these guys
No,
would
no
ever
chance.
to your face say that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like you might slide tackle them and get your first red card. You know what I mean? And like so,
Just
like
a double footer out. Bang.
just bang. But like even when I was doing like stand up, I gotta make it always about me. Sorry guys. But when I was doing my stand up, like some people would say something, but because stand up, like we've got that like ability to give it back to them literally on the stage.
Yeah.
So that's why for me it was good. Like I was waiting for people to say stuff. Like
Yeah, but that's your bread and butter. So if they're dumb enough to come into your territory like that, they got to know they're going to get scolded.
I'm not that witty. Like,
Yeah,
I've
no.
got to sit there and think about it, man. Like, you guys can just go clap back to
Yeah.
them straight away.
But I think it's just the being able to hide behind a screen that gives these people so much confidence because they would never say that shit to your faces.
Nah.
Keyboard warriors.
That's 100%. Cause like these guys are like big time. Like so me, I'm accessible. I'm able to. I done met some of these commenters. I done met some of these people, and to their face they like, oh, we was just saying it to get your attention, or oh man, I'm like, nah, bro, I know exactly who you are. You feel me? Like, cause I got.
But that's even worse when they fake it like that. No, I was
They
just
fake
I was
that
just
they like
like,
it.
my
Yeah.
That's the
goodness,
worst.
Like, even basketball wise, you know, like I said, I'm more accessible. So after the game, I can take pictures with the kids, and I'm like, nah, y'all was just talking hella shit.
Yeah.
Hairline, where's your hairline?
And you remember that.
Right, and
I
I
get
remember
that
that.
one,
Right, see, yeah.
Why is something wrong with the hairline?
Yeah, see, that's the thing about
That's why they
social-
got to sit next to each other.
But that's why I appreciate the social media comments. I didn't even know I had a receding hairline. You feel me? I'm like, oh, well, damn. So it made me work. You feel me? I started putting some oils in my stuff. Met a lot of African people.
they helped you,
They
bro.
helped me. You feel me?
Did
So
you
I
say
turned-
thank you?
Yeah, I turned the negatives into some positives. But yeah, man, it's all that. That comment stuff ain't shit.
It's happening with Westbrook now a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It never used to phase him. All of a sudden,
And now it's
his
getting
team's
to
not
him.
doing as well. Now it's getting to him lately. And just every little thing, then he's arcing up. And then when that happens, you know his head's not where it needs to be for the game. But yeah, it's tough. They just feel like they can kind of do whatever they want and just
whatever
get
they
away with it. So someone's got to change, but I don't know what you can do. But
I mean,
It's really not much. Some people like to, say that, hey, you're getting paid X amount of
Yeah, you
money.
should deal with it.
You should deal with it, and you knew what you was, what you were getting yourself into. But at the same point, like, nah, you can't just be
That's a
yelling
cop-out.
Yeah.
crazy slurs and not a grown man or, a grown woman to be like, Kyrie was throwing middle fingers up to
Yeah, I saw
everybody.
that last
Kyrie was,
video.
I ain't never saying, he looked like
Did you
Stone
just-
Cold Steve Austin up there. He said, boom, boom. I said, dang.
he just got fined. Was it
Yeah,
150,000?
50K, but he knew he
US, he
ain't
knew it was
nothing, bro.
coming.
it's a drop in
He
the
don't
ocean.
even
for
drink.
the
He don't
big
even
man.
eat no water. Drink no water. Eat no food.
Yeah.
He fasting
Yeah, and
right
fasting
now.
the whole game. That's
Kyrie?
Yeah, he fasted.
'cause of Ramadan?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
fasting his whole
Yep.
game.
Guy's nuts.
Crazy.
Fasting drops 39.
What?
Well, didn't they
Best guy I've seen live, by the way. Like, not the best player, but like skill-wise.
live?
Oh yeah.
When I've watched him, I've never seen a crowd react to hit like oohs and ahs and
Yeah.
his like shifty handle like as much as anyone. Like,
That's crazy.
I watched him in the nets, and KD's obviously KD. Like, he's obviously a better player long run than Kyrie, but like as far as crowd and like people coming to watch what he can do, I've never seen someone draw oohs and ahs like that guy. It's nuts.
Kyrie different.
He's different.
Kyrie different. He in that Kobe realm in terms of grew up playing ball overseas. All he knows is basketball. His dad was a pro.
Yeah.
Not many friends, and people may call those type of people weird, but like, I call them unique.
He's just
You know,
so
it's
skillful,
like,
man.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Yeah.
they different.
Have you played with some like big names?
Yeah, I mean, I played with a couple like Andre Drummond, Monte Morris for the Denver Nuggets, Ty Lawson, Ralph Sampson III. I wasn't able to get to that level. I mean, I've trained with a lot of professional guys, but I wasn't able to get to it. But that training level is different because that's all they know. You feel me? Like, I love basketball, but it's not my money making. You feel me? I'm playing it because I'm 31. And I want to still be able to play at a high level while I can. But it's for those guys. It's just you're a professional athlete. You guys are professional comedians. Like this is what you live, sleep, dream. Is this? You feel me? Like you wake up thinking. I mean, not saying you don't got no other life, but like you said, this your money maker, and you're playing at the highest level. So with me, that's why I'm like more relaxed, you know. But with them, like y'all different. Like y'all mentality, all that. So I appreciate y'all. I applaud y'all.
Thanks,
Real
man.
talk. Real talk.
Yeah.
Connor, have you had moments you're playing with people that are big names in the industry or in the soccer world, football world, that whether you've played with them or played against them, you have those moments that you kind of look back on?
Playing against is probably the big one, obviously, because it's such a world sport and we're not at the level that they are over there. But Liverpool came to town 2013. It was my first year as a professional, and I played broke into the team, played 12, 13 games towards the end of that season. Then we had that exhibition at MCG, and I was just like, what is this? And you got players like you're watching, like Steven Gerrard, Luis Suarez, Glenn Johnson, all those boys, like big dogs. Yeah. And the crazy thing is they're just massive, and you just look at them like, I'm just a kid. There's a picture of me in the tunnel. I'm 19, I'm tiny. Haven't grown much since. And I'm looking to my left, and I'm just looking at Steven Gerrard. I'm like, man, what is going on? Yeah. This has all happened within the space of 6 months, and that was a crazy moment, and one that I look back on and think there was 95,000 people there to watch a game. Yeah. Obviously none of them there to watch me, but that's not the point. I was sort of part of it.
I came to watch
it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, it was cool. So that was a bit of a, you sort of grow up watching those guys, and that's sort of the pinch yourself moment. Whereas now it's you become older, and you sort of, I don't live and breathe soccer and football, whatever you want to call it. And some people do, that's their whole life. But I sort of think at that point it was, and that was just crazy.
I mean, you're
really
starting
crazy.
out, you're making a name for yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
Now you've been playing, you're a professional in the game. You still have a life outside of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just about getting that balance, and I think it's just different personalities, really. Some people need to go home and, get in an ice bath or get on a foam roller all day and watch clips of themselves or other teams and analyse things. But I just need to get home and just completely forget about it if I can, and just worry about something else. So.
Is that your, so you're talking about, speaking of recovery and ice baths, what's your thing after you play?
I straight away will do all that sort of stuff, but then once I'm home, I just like to just completely kind of just get away from it. I don't really watch too much soccer even around the world now. I just watch sort of the big games that are on the weekend in the Premier League and things like that. But yeah, I sort of like to just think that if I can try and stay in the game as long as possible, it's probably going to be from removing myself from that when I'm away from training or away from games, just trying to get away from it completely, hanging out with friends and stuff like that, and just not really even talking about it. So that's sort of my way of going about it. But everyone's different. I've met so many different types of people.
I mean, I don't play elite sports, so I'm not going to talk about my recovery. But I mean, you guys, how do you end the end of a big game?
Yeah, nah. I don't want to talk about it.
Feel
Unless it's unless I win, then I won't stop. No.
I mean, you had a pretty big win recently.
Yeah, well then I won't stop. No, I'll make sure people hear about that one. No. For me, I prefer just hanging out with mates, and I'm hoping no tennis comes
up. Yeah. It
comes
always
in
does
discussion,
inevitably at some point, but
hang out with my mates, go out to dinner, talk shit, go out, just have fun. That's my way of kind of just talk about, I don't know, just stupid shit, honestly. Stuff not related to tennis. I'll worry about that when it comes to sort of match day or before or with my coaches and that. But I think the more for me anyway, as you were saying, everyone's different. But me, if I'm happy outside of the court, having fun, my life I'm in a good headspace there, then everything else kind of falls into place for me.
How about, I guess more specifically, is there a routine when you finish? If you're talking about, Connor mentioned ice baths or products that you take, or how you recover physically after a game like that?
My fitness people would probably like me going into more ice than I'd like, but ice and me they don't see eye to eye.
They're just boxes you got to tick at the end of the day, aren't
exactly.
they? We don't really like doing them, but get as much of them done as you can.
I try and give them the excuse that it doesn't do much.
Yeah, there's no scientific proof.
Disregarding about 40 years of science, I feel like I know best. I always say, and I'm stuck by this, for me when I go into an ice bath, I feel amazing 15 to 20 minutes after. Okay. Because everything's numb, I feel good, all the blood flow's going. A couple hours later, I feel just the same. So, a waste of 15 minutes.
15 minutes of pain.
I can't do that.
15 minutes of frozen nipples. It's not worth it.
Yeah, what? I can't.
You don't do it?
I'm not an ice bath guy either. I always say, I'm gonna do it, and then Nah, me,
No.
I get my red wine,
Yeah.
you know, get my nutritions. Shout out Modex, by the way, you know.
Smooth.
What? Like I did that. Stop playing with me. You know, pop my nutritional pills, man, and kick it, watch some on Netflix, and like you said, kick it with some mates. And I throw on my little Normatec, you know, my little Normatec boots. I mean,
Bare minimum, just chuck them on,
yeah,
just put them on while you
I
watch it.
just started stretching. I seen some cool TikToks. I'm like, I need to try that. Yeah, I'm like, let me try that. I'm 31, so I'm getting up there. My knees a little, but other than that, nah, I just keep the recovery simple, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless it's Modex, the recovery way.
The pearly whites come out. It's like, dang.
Nah, bro, that was good, brother. You better give me half your fucking paycheck, bro. I'll be straight with you, bro.
Nah, but speaking.
Modex coming to
Nah, but speaking on that, man, what y'all do like after your sets? In terms of, I don't want to say recovery because y'all probably, you know, some towns.
There's this drug called coke.
Codeine. Codeine. Medicine for your headache.
You know, honestly, for me, like, because I didn't know what to expect when I was going into it, no one told me, but I don't know if it was the same for you, but my traps were fucking killing after I did my shows. I don't know why. Yeah.
A little bit like this. Hey, so we never walk this.
You know, it was
You were up here, huh?
Yeah, I was like fucking, boys. But no, because I did, on my first ever shows, I did 2 shows back to back per night. So over 2 nights, I did 4 shows. So that's why maybe my traps, because I was holding the microphone up constantly, my traps were hurting, and I had a massive headache. Because there's only so much shit you can talk, and I surpassed that like by a long shot. So there wasn't any recovery though. I just had some sleep, had some mum's food, and I was all good.
And what about your voice? That ever affected? Like,
For me, a little bit, man, because I do like impersonations as well. So hearing you talk about impersonations is like a big thing. So a lot of my act is impersonation based, and I do mostly corporate gigs now. So I feel like at the moment I've got a bit of a cold. Don't know if you pick it up, but my man, it's just
So now we all have a cold.
Yeah,
but you know, I find personally, yeah, I can't even do a show if I can't do my voices and I can't do all the impersonations that I need to do. I almost feel like I can't even do it. So yeah, it's really important, man. Like for me, my voice is like the most important thing. Yeah, yeah.
You don't do, like, I mean, singers do vocal exercises. I mean, look, you're not
I'd love
a
to see
seasoned
that.
professional, but
be naked in the mirror.
Man, I've seen this guy. I just walk in on him, bathroom. He's just in the mirror, just doing voices, just to himself.
Is that so?
He's just trying to get him right. But no, we'll give him a compliment. Like,
Yeah, really?
he was saying he looks up to him and he's been around for a while doing crazy stuff. But I've seen some of the stuff he puts online and it's hilarious. But I honestly feel like he hasn't touched the hasn't touched the surface of what he could do. And like, if people more around the world see day-to-day stuff, that's where he's funniest. And people haven't seen that yet, but I'm like, this fucking guy is actually hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that for a mate. Like, there's so many people I see online. I love you, man.
Shut up your back, man. I love you, bro.
There's so much shit I see online, and I'm just like, how is this guy made it? How does this guy have the following? How does this guy have it? And they don't even like touch the skill level of him. And I'm just like, it just takes one person or one scout to see it and recognize that. And I think when that happens, he's gonna take off. So for me, hating on you, that's me being honest.
I appreciate it.
so basically we need to keep me up with Elliot.
Yeah, you do need to keep up with Elliot. The guy day to day is actually hilarious, and there's obviously some stuff he can't put online because it's just us talking rubbish, but he is one of a kind.
Jesus Christ, man. I'm gonna cry, bro.
God.
Fuck up, no pressure.
No, that was useless.
Slap it down.
Quiet.
You said slap it down.
He's done it.